tuning in. This is OPTIBOTIMUS coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Takara Tomy exclusive Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Movie Advance Black Knight Deluxe Class Scorn. And looking at the packaging, you can see that the difference being obviously the color form. This has a much more movie accurate design, although in the movie I think he actually had more red as opposed to this metallic looking orange. And even down here it kind of looks a little bit more reddish. But packaging wise is pretty similar to what we got with some Hasbro releases, except that you have the Japanese all over it. As a Japanese exclusive, it's available really only over there, or as usual, it'll be also available at Big Bad Toy Store. On the back here, you have his Spinosaurus mode as well as his robot mode, and it says Scorn has the jaws of a dino and the personality of a tank. He's a rumbling, thundering warhammer on legs. I do actually like that. In addition to all the Japanese, they do put some actual English on there. Almost like Takara recognizes that some of us collectors here over in the West would probably like to get this as well. Now, like I said, as you can see, the biggest thing is the color for him, and just has a much nicer representation of Scorn in the actual film. But for the packaging, that's about it for him. So without further ado, let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Black Knight Scorn opened up and out of its packaging. And again, basically what you're seeing is a much more movie accurate representation of Scorn than what we got with the official release. And going back and looking at the movie, the orange color on here where it's a metallic look actually is a little bit better than the orange that is on the Hasbro one. I thought that the Hasbro one would be a little bit better, but this actually is pretty decent. In the film it was more of a rust color, and that kind of fits a little bit nicer. Now I do wish that he had a little bit more kind of splattered throughout the rest of the body as opposed to just here. In Dino mode he had a lot kind of in his face, some down his neck. I mean, his whole body basically was littered with it, not just in what will be his shoulders and the little spine things, but it is nice nonetheless. And the black color and the gray just looks much better. Now, for a comparison, here he is. And here's the Hasbro one. And like I said, the orange here I thought was a little bit more accurate, but really the more copperish color here does have a much nicer feel. He also has a very big difference here in terms of the paint, obviously. I also really like that he's got red eyes on here, whereas his are these very bright blue. Looking at the color choice here, you can see that this is a little bit darker on the Hasbro one than the Takara one. This is a little bit lighter and a little bit more metallic. The rest of the actual gray has a slight difference as well, such as here on his neck area you got some gray obviously still on his spines. This is darker. Even the gray that's used kind of for like his knee area, that's very much the same as well, but a slightly different darker gray. I love the fact that they were able to repaint this. I mean, this was a rubbery kind of tail. I love that they actually have that painted to match on there. It's a little bit more metallic and lighter of a actual gray color, but I think it looks very nice. I mean, things just match on here so much better. I mean, you have the gray piece here for his neck, and it just comes to his dark gray head a little bit nicer, and then you've got the gray here on the top. I mean, you had that as well on here, where that just looked weird. The gray just sticks out on a red head. It's odd, but it's still an absolute gorgeous look. It's still one of my favorite Dinobots in terms of deluxe form, and having a more accurate color representation just is that much nicer. Now, for the transformation for the guy, it is exactly the same. Much like Slug's, the only real difference is the coloring on it, so we'll go ahead and skip the transformation for this. But if you do need help with that, obviously there is my review of the Scorn figure that you can check out if you want. But since we don't need to see it, we're going to go from Scorn looking like this to looking like this. And again, the color just absolutely works with this. Now, not much is different in terms of the orange. The only real orange that comes through here in robot mode that didn't come through in his dinosaur mode would be the orange right here in his abdomen area. And as you can see, I actually transformed him a little bit differently. Over time, I've decided that I didn't like that look for him all that much, so I actually like taking these and putting them up here like that. I think that looks a little bit nicer, to be totally honest with you, and it kind of fills things in a little bit. But yeah, that's the only extra color that shows up that you couldn't see in his dinosaur mode, but the guy looks great. I love the new blue color that they're using with the eyes. Slug had that as well, and it is very accurate to how it looked in the movie. One thing that looks really very sharp on here is the similar colors here with the shins. Now, for a comparison, here he is, And here's the original. And when you look at this, I mean, this wasn't bad, but you had this red and then you had this black on the inside. This just looks so much more actually cohesive. I mean, everything really does. It's quite a huge difference just with the color. Now, this guy has a little bit more teal of an eye, whereas this is more this light blue, but it is a similar look. It's just, if I'm going to throw down money and I want to get a nice, accurate representation, this is what it is. Obviously, if you can't afford this, I think, like I said, I believe that these are running for about 40 bucks, which, yeah, is like $25 more than the regular retail one. I totally get that the price can be prohibitive here, but if it's available to you, this is the one that I think that collector should have. It just stands out so much nicer, and that's not to say that this is a bad look for him, but again, the color is designed to really pop on store shelves and draw kids in, and this definitely does. But for me, as an adult collector, I want the accuracy, and this absolutely has it. Everything on here just looks incredible. The dark gray, the silver, the lighter gray, the orange accents on here all just complement this so very, very nicely. Because it is the exact same mold, the articulation is the same both in dinosaur mode and robot mode here, so you know what to expect with that. But beyond that, that's about it. This is what you're looking at. I mean, this is a case where, for me, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You look at this, and this just looks so much better. Also, I should mention that he does come with his weapon. It does just store up in here as well. You got the nice silver paint on the actual blade itself, and then the handle is this nice black coloring. And it all just is again designed to match with how the rest of his body looks. Instead of the red blade, you had that silver, which just fits with the color of the rest of his tail. Now, if you are interested in picking this guy up, as usual, he is available at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You go to BBTS where you can pick this guy up and add him to your collection today. But beyond that, that's about it, guys. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been OPTIBOTIMUS. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/OPTIBOTIMUS. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at OPTIBOTIMUSreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own OPTIBOTIMUS t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.